Now it's off to Los Angeles for the Diamondbacks, where they'll be taking on the team with the best record in baseball in the National League Division Series. But they won't be heading into Dodger Stadium feeling intimidated. Not only did they win the season series 11-8, they've also won their last 6 contests against the Dodgers, outscoring them 40-13 in those games. From Chase Field, Andy Krauss, Cronkite News. While one would think that the hardest part of what Laval has done is put up record-breaking numbers across 2 sports, he says the toughest part is balancing the training schedules of football, basketball, and baseball throughout one school year. Flugrad's second chance at rebuilding his coaching career came at Phoenix College when he was hired as the team's offensive coordinator in 2015, before becoming the head coach prior to the start of this season. The team practices right here, on a field sprinkled with hazardous divots and a goalpost constructed of PVC pipe. World-class athletes and stories of personal triumph abound at the U.S. Paralympics Track and Field National Championships. One of the most striking is the one that belongs to 4'9" sprinter and long jumper, Scout Bassett.
When I was an infant, I was involved in a fire, and that's how I lost my right leg. This took place in Nanjing, China, and shortly after that I was left on the street and later found and grew up in an orphanage for 7 years.
Bassett didn't even take her first steps until she was 6 years old, when she received a makeshift prosthesis constructed primarily of leather belt straps and masking tape. She was adopted by an American couple from Michigan a year later and ran for the first time when she was 14.
It was one of the hardest days of my life because up to that point, I was a very shy, reclusive, timid young girl, and I was really ashamed to be an amputee. And so I always wore pants and hid my prosthetic. So to get over that barrier was such a huge moment for me, and I realized that when I was out there running, I didn't feel disabled. I didn't feel like an amputee.
An even bigger revelation came during her sophomore year at UCLA when she discovered the Paralympics.
I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be the best, I want to compete with the very best, and I want to show the world what I'm made of.
She has broken the American record multiple times, the world record. I mean, we've gone to Rio, and the Olympics.
And her influence extends far beyond the track. Bassett has been a spokeswoman for the Challenged Athletes Foundation for almost 10 years and works with younger disabled athletes to help them realize their full potential.
We're going to remember her days on the track, but we're going to really remember what she did as a humanitarian and what she does in life, beyond the track world.
Bassett will compete in the Paralympic World Championships in London next month after taking home the gold medal in the 100-meter dash at the U.S. Nationals. She hopes to continue her quest for her first Olympic medal at the 2020 Games in Tokyo. For Cronkite News, Andy Krauss in Los Angeles.
I knew this was a special group, and I figured that out real quick. I knew that this group could win together, they could lose together, they could celebrate, grow, and we're a big tight family here, and that's what led us to this moment.
As the festivities moved into the clubhouse, the team sprayed champagne and poured beer everywhere, leaving nothing dry.
Nice job, brother.
It was also the moment when the satisfaction over what they played for all year long finally sunk in.
I knew if we win, then it took care of everything. And then, but yeah, they made that announcement in the 6th or 7th inning, and then, yeah. But now we're going to the pool, so I got to get going.
The celebration concluded with just that. The players made a dash for the pool in right field as fans cheered them on. The final D-back to make a splash was none other than Paul Goldschmidt, the one who has led the team all season long. The Diamondbacks understand there's a lot of work left to do this year, but for one brief moment, they're content celebrating just a shot at their second World Series title. From Chase Field, Andy Krauss, Cronkite News.
5-6 is the widest you can go, right?
If you have your sights set on becoming a world-class photographer or taking pictures worthy of publication and gallery exhibition, Mark Edward Harris is your man. The award-winning travel photographer teaches amateurs how to add those extra elements to their pictures that turn them into something more than a simple tourist memento.
Trying to get people to really look at the best way to capture their environment, to capture that fleeting moment, was really the goal.
Harris, who teaches his course in and around Los Angeles, begins with a slideshow lecture to illustrate the course's objectives that highlights the finer aspects of travel art. Students have the chance to practice what they learned during a 2-hour visit to the Huntington Library and Botanical Gardens,